Hi everyone, I just wanted to make a video about something that happened to me this week. It's more lady problems, so if you're a dude, you don't watch this, just turn it off. It's complete lady problems. But I wanted to kind of share this experience that I had because I feel that it's going to change my life more positively. And in case any lady's going to have this type of surgery, just want to give you the heads up while it's fresh. Like I just had the surgery on Tuesday. Yeah, on Tuesday afternoon. What I'm talking about is a hysterectomy. I had a partial hysterectomy due to I had some fibroids inside my uterus, and it just became real painful. I wouldn't say real painful, but it was just pain all the time. And this is really annoying, and I just hate annoying things. So if something annoys me, I want to fix it immediately. Now, I already have 2 kids. I'm done with having kids. So if, it's kind of it is a big deal to have a hysterectomy. I mean, you're not going to be able to have children anymore. So if you still plan on having children, try and hold out as long as you can until you have children. Because obviously, once it's out. You can't do it anymore. But I just wanted to kind of talk about my journey with this. And, so basically, like, my period has been, I'd say, normal my whole life. The only thing that was an issue with it when I was really young and I was having my period is, like, the first day was always, like, the worst. The cramps, the constipation. It was kind of debilitating for, like, a day. It was really bad. After my first son, I opted to have an IUD, which was the Paragard, the copper one. And I was supposed to have that for 10 years. Now, after a while, at about 3 years of me having the IUD, my body started to reject it. It was pushing it out. And the thing with IUDs is how I knew something was wrong with it is because when they first put it in you're severely cramping for a few months. Mine took 4 months for my body to get used to it. But it was severe pain where I would just drop to my knees in the store or whatever at any point in time that was random between when I had it installed or implanted, not installed. I'm not a machine. Implanted versus until the end of the 4 months. It was just horrible pain, but to me it was worth it because I'm not the type of person that will remember to take a birth control pill or whatever every day. I'm terrible at that. So I had it for about 3 years, and then my doctor had to remove it because she could see it. My body was pushing it out. So she said, after you get your IUD removed, you cannot have one put back in until another 6 months. So I was like, oh, okay. So I waited 6 months, and towards the end of the 6 months, I got pregnant. So I had my second child. Now, my period started to change more recently. And that's after I had my second child, that's when I started having problems with these fibroids, which I didn't know what they were yet until I finally saw a doctor because, again, sometimes I was cramping even though I wasn't on my period. It was really weird. And it's just like such an annoyance. It really was. And sometimes I would, there was some blood. It's hard to be so gross, but there was some blood in it. A little bit, not too bad. So I kind of ignored it. And then this past June or July of 2015, last year, I went to the doctor. She measured them. They did the sonograms and all that stuff. She was like, yeah, you have fibroids and some cysts here on your tubes. That's why you're having cramps. And your uterus is slightly enlarged because you have the fibroids inside. So I was like, oh, okay. She just gave me some options. She's like, I can give you birth control so that way you could try and shrink them and that your pain will be less. Well, like I said, I'm not real good at taking birth control pills, nor would I want to just spend the money every month to get my pills, have them refilled, get a prescription from the doctor, go see her. So that was kind of out of the question. Another thing that she said, which I could have done, was burn the inside of my uterus, which is what they do a lot for people with endometriosis. Like just burn it off there and hopefully she'll get some of the fibroids. But I still had some on my tubes. So to me that she's like, it might help, it might not help. So that's another option. And then the last one she said was, you can have a partial hysterectomy, which is what I had. I had my cervix, my uterus, and both my fallopian tubes removed. I did keep my ovaries, so that way I don't go into early menopause. And there was nothing wrong with my ovaries, so they got to stay. They didn't have any cysts or fibroids on them. So I had my surgery on Tuesday afternoon. I wasn't nervous or anything. I have a pretty high tolerance for pain, and this might not be for everyone, but they did the surgery. They put you completely under, and my doctor used that robotic machine called the Da Vinci. So so they went through my belly button, and then I have, let me see, where is it? There's one. So there's one in my belly button, one, like 2 up here, and then there's one to the side down here where the tubes were. Now, when they do this, they fill your stomach cavity with some kind of gas to make my skin rise, and there's like not lots of room in there, and she could snap pictures or whatnot. So that's what they did. I came out of recovery. I felt okay. But they had, while you're in the hospital, you do have to stay 24 hours, which is what I had to do. I stayed overnight after my surgery. They had me on a catheter for a while. They encourage walking. Once you have this, they really encourage walking. There's also a side effect after you have the surgery of being nauseous or vomiting, which, thank God I didn't have any of that, so I was pretty lucky. They did give me a patch that goes behind my ear to help with the nausea. If it worked, I don't know. I've been able to eat the first day out of my surgery. They wanted me on an all liquid diet, so that's what I got, right? And then the next morning, which was this morning, they let me eat my regular diet, so I had like eggs and bacon or whatever. And then for lunch, I had a sandwich and soup. Nothing too heavy, because what's going on after you get out of recovery, that air that they put inside you is still in there. And it'll travel up to like your shoulders. There's some real bad pain under my ribs. So it hurts like to laugh. Obviously, they don't want you to be lifting heavy things, and it really hurts. That's probably, to me, the most painful part of this recovery process is the air that gets trapped inside you. And oh my God, it is so painful. Like, seriously, that's like the worst part for me. I mean, with leading up to this, I had cramps, and like I said, it was just really annoying. And the reason, when I had, like I was saying, I had gone to my doctor this past June or July, those were her options, partial hysterectomy, which I was like, no, for sure, I want to get the hysterectomy. And she's like, okay, well, we can schedule it for August. And at the time, my husband and I were in the process of trying to buy a new house. So I was like, you know what, I can't have it in August because we're supposed to move on this certain day, and I don't want to be useless. Like, I want to be able to help move. She was like, oh, okay, that's fine. We'll just, once all that's done, call us back at the office and we'll schedule your surgery date. So I did. We didn't end up getting that house, unfortunately. So at some time after August, I was noticing that my periods were getting longer and they were getting heavier. And about a month ago, I actually ended up at an urgent care center, like an emergency center, but those urgent care ones. And I wasn't even on my period. My period came like 2 or 3 days after that incident. And I was having really bad cramps. They woke me up in the middle of the night, and I thought I had started my period, and I was like, okay. So I went back to bed, and then when I finally woke up again, my cramps were the worst. I felt like I was in labor, which is not cool because obviously I'm not pregnant. I had my tubes tied with my last son, so there's no way I could have gotten pregnant. So it was just really bad. They sent me there, and the doctor at the urgent care center was like, basically, your period might be changing the way you're getting older, and this is what it's going to be like probably for the rest of your life. She's like, so I'm just going to give you some painkillers, some real strong ones, so that way when it does happen again, you are prepared with the painkillers. So basically, I don't want to live like that. Having those kind of cramps when you're not pregnant, when you're not on your period, is just ridiculous to me. So I wanted to fix it, immediately, because if that's how it was going to be for the rest of my life, no way. So yeah, I went back to my doctor, scheduled the operation. They did it, and I'm actually really happy. I mean, I feel great. Like I said, the only thing I have pain is my stomach's just a little bit tender, and then I can feel the air, like all that gas, like moving up in my shoulders, which does hurt. So I haven't been able to lay down in my bed because it seems to get the worst when I lay down in my bed, I guess because it's too soft. So since my recovery coming home, I've just been sitting down on firm chairs and just relaxing as much as possible. I'm on a 6-week recovery after you have this. It's 6 weeks of recovery. So no heavy lifting, no sex, no, what else? No tampons. No. Now some of the things that happened, which they told me when I was in the hospital, they give you like a panty liner and they're like, you may start spotting, but if it starts getting a lot, like if you're on your period, that's a bad sign. Come back to us, come to the doctor's office. So, that was fine. But basically, I just wanted to share that. I'm sorry if it's too much information, but if you already have children and you are having problems like this, and it's also very common, my doctor was telling me among African American women and Hispanic women, we have them at a higher percentage rate than any other group of people, which I was kind of like, ugh. But it's cool. I'm very happy that I'm never gonna have a period again. That to me, I'm gonna be pain free. And since they took my uterus and my cervix, I am not at risk for uterine or cervical cancer, which is like another bonus to me. So I feel that after having this surgery, my quality of life is going to be so much better. I'm so glad that I did it. I got it over with. So yeah, I'm like really happy about that. So I'm just going to take it easy for the next 6 weeks. But just, if you're thinking about having the surgery, give it some good thought and research. It's the best thing I've ever done for myself, medical wise, besides getting my tubes tied, which I'm kind of upset because I had my tubes tied and I paid for it, right? Only to have my whole uterus removed a year later, like 2 years later. Ugh. But that's life, right? I mean, you can't see these things into the future. But basically that's what I'm going through. I'll have an update maybe at the end of 6 weeks, in case you're interested in how my pain has been, all that stuff. So I just wanted to share that. Again, sorry if it's too much information for you, but I hope this was helpful in case you've been thinking about this type of procedure, and have a great day. All right, bye.